Welcome to the Audio Renaissance unabridged presentation of The Christmas Shoes, written by Donna VanLiere, produced by Tony Hudds, and read by Paul Michael.
Preface. Today. Some people go their entire lives missing the small miracles that happen throughout the day. Those small blessings God sends from heaven to make us smile, laugh, or to break our hearts, and gently nudge us closer to His side. I used to miss those tiny miracles, my children's giggles, their first awkward steps, their little hands wrapped gingerly around my fingers for support. I missed the sense of renewal as one season changed into the next. Our dogwood's scrawny limbs exploding into magnificent blossoms each spring, and summers when the giant oaks in our backyard dressed themselves in thick foliage, shading our home. I never noticed my wife's warm glances and easy laugh. I missed the blessing of her love for me. One night, when joy was far away, God's grace touched me and opened my eyes. That same grace has inspired me to write this story, to share with you some of the things I have learned, though it's true, no one could have told me any of this then. We all have questions in this life. It's taken me a long time to figure out what the really important questions are, the ones that matter. Not, how am I going to make enough money, or what can I do to get promoted? No, more like, what are the flowers thinking beneath the snow? When do birds make reservations to fly south? What is God's plan for my life? What are my wife's dreams? A year ago I was finally able to connect all of the pieces. I met a young man who told me how it all happened. Now I know the truth, because now I know how God's hand guided my life. Some people, perhaps someone like you, may write off this story as coincidence, a chance encounter, the random crossing of two lives. There was a time just a few years ago when I would have said the same. Back then you could not have convinced me that God would use a pair of shoes to change someone's life. But now I believe. I most definitely believe. God gave us the greatest proof of love that the world has ever seen. Andrew Murray. Prologue. Christmas Day, 2000. That winter, Christmas arrived without snow, which for our town was quite unusual. The fall had been beautiful, sunny, and mild. People were in shirt sleeves at Thanksgiving. However, as the holiday season approached, nature turned, bringing instead of blizzards, some of the worst ice storms of the century, coating everything with ice and knocking down trees and power lines. Then the weather turned bitterly cold, and stayed dark and grim, as everyone waited for the white Christmas Bing Crosby was dreaming of on all of the local jukeboxes. The sedan's tires spun on the ice, groping for solid ground. I put the car in reverse, backed up, turned the wheels at a different angle, put the car in drive, and attempted the hill into the cemetery a second time. This time the car climbed halfway up, but then the tires began to hum loudly, spinning again. I gave the car more gas, but to no avail. Shifting into neutral, I released the clutch and let the car ease backward to the base of the hill, where I parked and turned off the engine. From where I sat, I could see that the tombstone was covered with a brilliant sheen of ice. Icicles hung off the sides, and brown leaves sat in frozen clusters on the cold stone. I would have to clean it off before I could decorate. I decided to leave everything in the trunk until I cleared the site. As I got out of the car, the wind shrieked, cutting at my face. I pulled my wool overcoat tightly around me and picked up my gloves from the front seat. Realizing I'd left my hat at home, I pulled up my coat collar as high around my neck as I could and closed the car door behind me. I shivered and began the short climb up the hill. Walking the hill was not much easier than driving it. I had to place my steps carefully to avoid slipping on the ice. As I entered the park, I could see that most of the pathways that wove through the grounds were clear and sparkling. I reached the gravesite I was in the habit of decorating every Christmas. Frost clung to the lettering, shielding.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?